All right, here we go. Welcome everybody. My name is Chastity Buckley. I'm the host of Midnight R&B Edition, homage to Midnight Love BET, where I give all my flowers to all my R&B artists, singers, songwriters, and producers. But here today, y'all, I got an R&B legend. R&B and hip hop legend. Let me add hip hop in there because you got a mixture of both, sir. This man right here has been in the game over 25 years. I'm so honored to have him on the show. He's a producer, a composer. Not that he's a CEO. I gotta put that title in there, sir, because you got that and then some. But this man is the CEO of his production company called the Dub World Productions, if I'm correct.
Yes.
But not even that, this man has been in the game for so long as part of the legendary, iconic hitman from Bad Boy, the one, the only, the man of the hour, the king of keys, the one and only Mr. J-Dub. Thank you so much, Mr. J-Dub.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Look, I appreciate you because I mean, sir, you've been in my childhood for like damn near half my life. So I'm like, I have to give you so much respect and flowers. But not that today, y'all, we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of SWV's third album, Release from Tension. So how do you feel, J-Dub? How do you feel like today's 25 years? Like, can you believe it?
No, I can't. It's like like everything with my career.
Yeah.
I look up and it just goes so fast. Like, and I look up, it's like, whoa. So I'm just honored to be here, and I'm just blessed that that the music has stood the test of time. You know, and that's what it's all about for me. Just making legacy music that's gonna be here, and people still appreciate it today. So that's a blessing.
I mean, like I said, J-Dub, for me to even just name off so many titles, I think you're like I would say you're probably my first guest in history to have like the longest resume ever. Because I've had some people that have been on this platform, but your resume is so long. It was so amazing to me to know how much you've been a part of music, but not that you've been a part of television and so many other things. I know we're going to get to that, but not that you have been a part of, so many people's lives in childhood. I think it's amazing for you to honor your legacy today, but not even honor this iconic album that's my favorite album of all time from SWV. But for me to even have you on the platform is just an honor, and I thank you so much from the bottom of my
heart. I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, before we do get started, I want to ask you, I always do a mental check-in on my guests that come in. I wanted to ask you, I know since now we're in the 2020 decades, how have you been since the pandemic has happened?
You know what? I'm thankful that God has kept me through it and kept my family. We've been safe, and it's just, for us, it's been a blessing. Actually, because before COVID, I've been pretty much in quarantine anyway, right? Because I'm like in the house, my studio's in the house, so I work from home. The only difference was it allowed me to connect with a lot of new and exciting talent through, like what we're doing now, right? Before, we would have to go to the studio, break down. I go to the studio, mix, whatever. But like nobody could go to the studio, right?
Yeah.
So it was like we were forced to learn a different way.
Oh yeah.
So it was like I was meeting a lot of different artists through social media, and so what I would do is I'll say, hey, I'll send out some tracks, and they'll just start sending them back. So that really built up a lot of great relationships during that time as well. So
right. Hold on 1 second, let me get something real quick because my phone is acting cray.
No doubt.
Let me put my hotspot on because hold on, I want this live to be amazing. So us, we got to make sure we do everything in proper and order. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna jump back. Okay, come on. Okay, there we. Okay. All right, J-Dub, you good?
Yes.
All right. There you go. All right, now we back. I had to put my hotspot on because my phone loves I'm at my alumni. I'm at my college right now, so I'm at my alumni trying to get everything straight. But we good.
Okay, I can dig it.
All right. So and I'm so happy you talked about that because I want to make sure with everybody. I know it's crazy. I did an interview with Troy Taylor. He said the same thing. It's really different for a lot of y'all. Like it's kind of like the same Same thing, but the thing about it is, I think just a lot of people different now because you know on social media and stuff. So now you get to meet people like myself, and then you become artists that really, really are trying to do great things in the game. And I'm really happy that you talked about that. I'm happy that your family's safe. You know?
Yes, no doubt.
So okay, so now since we are doing a little history about you and who you are as a person, so I know you are from Detroit, Michigan.
313. What up, dog? What up, dog? West side, east side, Highland Park too.
Lord, and you know what's it's amazing, like so much talent that's in Detroit. I call it like the home of music, you know, because so much stuff has come out of Detroit. But you being from there, like how was it growing up in Detroit? You know, how was it like being a part of that, you know, music culture? But I know like who were some of your influences? And I know for sure, you like I call you the King of Keys. Like you were really trained by one of the most legendary, iconic groups of all time, Miss Twinkie Clark from the Clark Sisters. So how did you get a part of that, and what was going on at that time when you were first started to get your love for music?
Okay. Well, I feel like I came out of the womb playing music, right? since I can remember, I'll never forget. My grandfather would always bring back different instruments. He'd bring back saxophone. I messed around with it, but that wasn't it. And then one day he brought back an organ, like them old organs, right? It was an organ, right? They had little pedals. It wasn't a big organ, but it was a little like organ. And I got on that thing, and it was just like I knew how to play it. And I would stay on it for hours and hours to the point where my grandmother, she played too. She played, so I would watch her play, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put him in piano school." So I started studying piano. I think maybe like at 9. Like I was taking piano lessons around 9, learning how to read music, and it just evolved from there. So I started playing. You know, I was taking my lessons about 9, 10. That thing around age 11, and also I grew up in the church, right?
Okay, come on, foundation.
Yeah, so that's my foundation. So my cousin, she played for the church, right? Watch this, it's funny. So every Sunday, like when I say I grew up in the church, I grew up in the church. We was in church Sunday, probably Wednesday for Bible study, probably Thursday for something else, and Saturday a picnic, right? And then all day Sunday. Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, and
so you were a church boy.
Right? So my cousin, she played for the church. And I grew up in the Holy Ghost church. Like we had the Holy Ghost speaking in tongues. We running around the church. So every now and then, my cousin, she would catch the spirit and she'd jump off that organ, right? And I'd be up there, couldn't wait. Because as soon as she jumped off, guess who got on?
You.
So I started off like really playing church music. And I knew how to play by ear.
I was going to ask you that.
So anything anybody sung, because if you know anything about the church, back then we had testimony service.
Amen. Yep, you know I know.
So when they stood up, no matter what key they were singing in, you had to know how to follow them, right? Yep. And something like, again, that's my gift from God. I innately just knew, like, okay. So I knew, so I was playing by ear, and then my grandmother put me in piano lessons. So from there, it evolved from piano lessons, because I used to go to this lady's house back then. There was a lady's house, I'll never forget. I forget her name, but I would go to her house every week, and she, she showed me the simple scales and how to read music and everything. And then, over time, my mama saw, and my whole family saw, like, man, this boy's good. Let's put him in a real, like a classical. It was a classical piano school. So there, I started studying classical music, right?
Right.
And I'll never forget my first classical instructor. Her name was Mrs. Medina. And again, I had already knew how to play by ear, right?
Right.
But I knew how to read music. But music, I wasn't really interested in all that, like reading that. So what she would do is every piece that I was supposed to learn that week, she would play it. Me and my mind, all you gotta do is play it one time. So I learned what so I could remember what she played, but I was really supposed to be reading the music. So one lesson she was like, Jeffrey, play that stanza. And I was just playing off the ear what I remember. And she's like, oh, you playing by ear. We're gonna change that. So you know, that was really, my first introduction to really, just really learning how to play classical music, because she made me instead of using my ear. And then after that, I started studying jazz. I went on to a jazz instructor, and I love that because because jazz, you can just basically improvise. A lot of improvisation. Charts, the chords, but after that, you can just go ham. So I studied jazz for a minute, and I loved that. And then by that time, I was like in high school. I started going to high school. I went to Cass Tech. Shout out to Cass Tech. What up, dope? And my mama, she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna put you in Clark, Mattie Moss Clark Consort.
Come on, Mattie Moss.
On West 7 Mile, right? So you kind of had to audition for Mattie Moss, Mama Clark, before you even could really even get into the school, right? So I never forget, I went to Mattie Moss, I sat down and I played, and she told my mama, she said, that boy got a gift from God.
And she don't play.
Oh, she taking shoes off, throwing them at you at the concerts if you miss a note. Like, serious. So she was.
So J-Dub, like the movie, she was just like that.
Just like that movie.
Wow.
Just like she didn't play. Like, you can miss a beat. She said, wait a minute, hold on. Get up. You get on. She'll make somebody get off the organ and put somebody else on that's playing it right. Wow. That's how serious she was. But looking back, I really appreciate that, because that made me into the monster, on the keys that I became. And then she immediately put me with Twinkie Clark. So I was like Twinkie's star pupil.
Wow.
Because I learned under her. Again, I played by ear, so I watched everything she did. Like my organ style is like Twinkie. Wow. To this day. So I just ate up her musical style. And then I had a piano teacher there as well. And he taught me really my scales. So if my style, my fingers are really fast. But I learned that from him too. Like I can play, scales like super, super, super fast. So it's like I'm scale oriented, chord, gospel oriented, as well as my ear, and you put it all together and you have J-Dub.
Come on, J-Dub. I love that, because it's so amazing that you talk about that, because I know a lot of people, that's why I call you the king of keys, because I think for you, the way the sound of your music is not like everybody else. And that's why I say every time I listen to your production, especially so many songs you did in the 90s, especially with Bad Boy and stuff, I know we're going to get to that. I hear those keys a lot. You know what I'm saying? Those keys stick out more than anything. And I'm like, wow, who in the hell is playing these keys? You know what I'm saying? But it's just amazing that I can hear that in the production, because, a lot of people get lost in the shuffle of the sound and the beat. But when you have that piano, it kind of brings back that old soul of good music. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so appreciative that you talk about that, because like I said, it's very rare you hear a lot of musicians talk about, the gift of what they do. But with yourself, I love that you talk about the chords and stuff like that. And now you had Mattie Moss. Come on.
Twinkie Clark.
We don't even need to say more.
Literally taught me how to play the B3. Literally. And from there, it was a blessing, because once I started learning the B3, I had a job at a church every Sunday I did not have a job playing at a church. Every Sunday. And sometimes two churches. Like, I'll be at this church, I got to go play at this church. And it was a blessing, but that all came from, really being up under Mattie Moss Clark, Twinkie Clark, and that Mattie Moss Conservatory of Music. It was really a blessing for me. Yeah,
that's amazing. And I know you said you were in high school. So like with that transition, how did you kind of get to the front? Because I know you said with your manager, I didn't even know this, Gene Griffith, like how did you get to be, I guess, the part of the music industry, but like who was some of your inspiration? Like, what inspired you to become like in the industry?
Well, growing up, my grandmama would always listen to the greats: Marvin Gaye,
Come on.
Earth, Wind and Fire, Frankie Beverly and Mays,
Mm.
Isley Brothers.
Mm.
Like I never forget, because my grandmother is passed now, but
Yeah.
we had this song, hello, hello, hello. And I would sing that to my grandma, and she just laughed. And so I grew up on Isley Brothers, and then as I started studying jazz, Joe Sample, um, the late great Chick Corea in the electric band, the Clark sisters, of course, Tommy Whitfield, Winans, Commission, George Clinton. I mean, pretty much everybody I would listen to. So it was a gumbo, right?
Yeah.
R&B, jazz, gospel, Beethoven, Bach. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a gumbo for me because I just loved it all.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
Yeah. So with that, and I know you're talking about that about your mixture music. Like, how did you get, I guess, your start in the industry? But like, who was like the first gateway for you before you got to Bad Boy? Like you said, it was Gene Griffith. So can you talk about that? How did you meet up with that, and what made you transition into now getting into the industry?
Okay, no doubt. 12th grade. One of my best friends, Eric Crawford. He's an awesome songwriter to this day. At Cass, we had a music department, and he and I stayed in the music department. I mean, when I say he could sing, he sang his butt off, and he wrote songs, right? So during this time too, again, I'm playing for every church in the city. I'm playing, and we had this choir. We had a group called The Word, the WORDD. And we were like a mini Winans commission, right? Like we studied them, so we would rehearse every week, and we would gig every Sunday, sometimes Saturday or Sunday. So he was in the group, and we went to the same high school. So he was a year above me, and he graduated, and he hooked up with somebody down in Atlanta, and it was the end of my senior year. He was like, "Dub, man, I met some people down in Atlanta, man. Come on, man, we're gonna go down there." And back then we was doing demos, right?
Right.
man, come on, man. We're gonna do the demo, we're gonna do the album, we're gonna blow up. So I'm like, okay, well, hey, I love music, and I'm the type, I'm not stuck nowhere. Like, I'm just like, hey, let's go. There's an opportunity, let's go. So we came down to Atlanta. That's really how I got to Atlanta. And how God worked. We were down there with this production team, and the studio that we were renting, Gene Griffin was also renting the studio. And I guess, you know, looking back, I could see it, but I couldn't understand. But now I know, like, why would people just gravitate to me? Because they saw that gift on me, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So immediately he was like, "Oh, how you doing? I'm Jim Griffin." That's how I talk. The late grand. So he just took me under his wing, and he was my first manager. You know, from there, so, but of course, that was really my first introduction into the studio. Right. Because when I came down, like, I was like kind of like blown back to see the big board. It was a big SSL board back then, big old board, big speakers, patch bay. I mean, I was just like, whoa. And then I started have the opportunity to mess with drum machines, the rolling drum machines, and just learning. Because how I learned, I just sit back and I watch.
Observing.
I just observe it all, and then like when the sessions would be over, I just be in there tinkling with stuff, and Gene would come in. So he ended up managing me, and this is the time when he and Teddy Riley had fell out right after they did Michael's album. So he was my manager, and he really showed me a lot about the game, right? And
Right.
I learned a lot, but he got me a lot. I learned that pretty much we were getting about 50 racks a track, right?
Woo.
But he would tell me, it's just a low production. Then I think he was just throwing me like 2,500
out of 50. Oh hell no. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, that was like my introduction to the business. And then of course that didn't last long, because I'm the type, once I find out that kind of handling me wrong,
the rap.
Oh,
no, 100%. Goodbye.
Yeah. So that happened. So it didn't work out, but I gained so much experience in the studio, and that's when I fell in love with it. Though that's when I knew, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. This is what So it didn't work out, but we did cut the demo. And we put it out. It did okay. I can't remember the single, but we put it out, and of course that didn't work. So I went back home. But immediately when I went back home, I hooked up my big brother, Shannon Slam Lawrence. What up, Slam? He was at RJ Rice Studios in Southfield. If you don't remember, it's this group called RJ Rice, RJ's Latest Arrival, and they had that song "Shackles on My Feet." Shackles on my feet. Well, it was a huge hit back. Yeah, it was a huge hit.
Okay, it's ringing the bell, but I'm like, I'll probably have to hear it.
It's on that. Yeah, it was like it's something like that. So he had a studio in Southfield, and I began immediately just interning there, and just really studying up under him, right? So it was like I was always blessed to have mentors that had been in the game, right? That were seasoned. So I learned a lot from him. I learned how to build my bridges. He taught me how to work the MPC 60. He taught me how to work the patch bay. So I was really, learning the skill. And then I think I was home maybe like a year. And all the dope boys come to the studio and they always got the money. So, right. And so I'm at the studio every day and they needed beats. So, I stayed work, but it was just work around the city. So my name started getting hot in the city. And somebody by the name of Wendell White. Wendell White came to the studio. He had this rap group, and he really was loving, what I was doing. And he was like, I was just doing track for him. And he's like, Dub, I'm starting this production company called 2620. This 2620 it was him, Leo, Kenny Burns, and a few others.
I know Kenny Burns. Yep.
Yeah. So he was starting 2620. He was like, yo, I got this spot down in Atlanta. Again, right? Atlanta is just something about Atlanta, right?
That's your place. Look.
I guess that's what it is. So he was like, yo, I want you to come down and be the main producer. I got this rap group. So we gonna rock out. I was like, cool. So again, I ended back in Atlanta. Back in the studio, and that was a really fun experience. Like it was real fun until I found out, like, yo, yeah, you want me to do all this work, but where's my money?
Where's the coin? Add that part. The business. Starting to learn about the business. I'm getting to see that.
Right. So over time, so I'm learning that if you don't speak up for your money, I'm just raised like that. Like, yo, like, because the thing about me, I was never pressed for the money because I was always blessed with a gift. I could play at church anytime I wanted to.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying? It make good money.
Good money.
Every Sunday.
Yeah.
No stress. Right? So I always, that's what's made me so much different from a lot of the young producers, because that's really all they had. All they knew how to do was press on the buttons, whatever. So they felt like they had to do it. I always had the mentality like, nigga, you need me. I don't really need you. I'm straight. So So he and we fell out about the money. And at this time, he had a studio, but I had moved to an apartment. So he let me have a lot of his equipment in my house. We fell out. So, of course, he came, I'm going to take all my equipment. So he came, he took all his equipment. But at the same time, it was this company called Noontime.
Hey, I know Noontime. In that Joyce Irby, that was.
Chris Hicks,
Brian
Glover.
Yep.
T. Ross.
I think Dallas Austin, he was in there at that time, wasn't it too? Dallas,
yeah.
So I know all about that.
Yeah. So at that time, the music circle was small. So 2620 Noontime.
Everybody.
So after, it was like immediately, I don't know how he found out, but I either called Chris or Chris called me. I was like, yeah, man, I just fell out with Wendell, and it was like I guess he was praying for that, because immediately I had a contract with Noontime. So I went over there and I started helping build Noontime up, and it was because Noontime was really a promotion. They were doing a lot of parties back then, because parties was real big.
So they wasn't a record label at the time.
At first, no. It was because in Atlanta, the scene at that time, it was all about the parties, because we had Freaknik, and I'm talking about. We was see, people don't know about that Atlanta. Like that Atlanta, we party like
the
all
90s.
The time. So but it was a transition too, because music started getting hot. So everybody that was promoting started getting into music, right? Yeah. So they started building a production company versus, because it really wasn't like a label. It was more like a production company.
Right.
So they were signing music producers. So they signed me. So I fell out with Window, and immediately I got with Noontime. So I hooked up with them, and we started building up the production company. And it was me and Dent. Anthony Dent. That's my partner. Like, we really, that's when I really got my grind on. I never forget, we had the studio on Walker Street down here. And when I say it was about 100,000 degrees back there, because we didn't have no air conditioning. and the little air conditioning it didn't really work. And then add on like a big Mackie board with all types of equipment in a little room. I never forget, but me and Dent, we grinded in that room for like every day for like 6-7 months. We didn't see the sunlight. And it was like Burger King was like, it was like a 5-star meal for us back then. So it was like, that was really when when we grinded it out, and it wasn't, it didn't happen overnight either. It was a grind. Right. You know what I mean? But through it all, but we loved it. Like, we loved every minute.
You love it.
And after a while, we started getting hot. Me and Dick, to the point like people start, whoa, the boy's hot. And I'll never forget, Kenny Burns got us our first remix, Stilo remix, 702.
Yeah, that's my group.
I'll check out that remix that we did. It's me and Dick did it, and Kenny Burns is on there. 2620 J-Dub, whatever. Let's go. It's dope. I saw that. So that was our first remix, and then from there, we started getting hot. Like me and Dick's name started getting out there, and fast forwarded to, our name got to the ears of Puff Daddy.
That is crazy.
And when I say Puff flew down, because I did a demo. I didn't remember the demos.
Oh yeah,
6-song demo.
Everything.
Right, on this group called Absolute. And it got Noontime was shopping it everywhere, and everybody was like, whoa, the production on it is crazy. Who did it? It's like, yo, our producers, then J-Dub. So Puff got it. He heard it, and Puff is a guy, he don't waste no time.
Oh yeah,
he got on a plane on Friday. I never forget, and he said, "All right, done. Let me hear what you got." And back then we had DATs, right? DATs.
The
And when I say I had about 100 million gazillion DATs, full of work, right? I had so much work. So I was like, let's go. We sat and I played him. We sat there for about an hour. And I'm just playing joint after joint after joint after joint after joint. And then I would say he was there on a Friday. I was in New York like Saturday evening. No, that
was 24 hours.
Yeah. I was in New York. And I never forget. And we was in the B room. That was Biggie's room. The SSL room. And in the vocal booth. And he was like, yo, Dunn, I'm about to open up the floodgates. You know, he talked that talk, but
he always do.
I mean, because that's my big brother mentor, but he was like, about to open up the floodgates, Dunn. It's about to go down. And that was like on a, Sunday, maybe. Like Wednesday, we had the contracts, whatever, signed the deal. Maybe like it was that Saturday or the following Saturday. He's like, yo, Dunn, you ready? Like, yeah, let's go. Cause now I'm at Bad Boy.
So did you be with Bad Boy like around? So I'm thinking J-Dub, now I'm seeing it. You got around Bad Boy around like mid 90s. So this has got to be 95, 96.
Yep, 96.
Okay.
Yep, around 96, 97, 96. And so immediately I'm in at Bad Boy. And you got to think too, like, again, maybe like 2 years before that, I'm listening to Biggie. I'm listening to Faith. I'm like, oh my God. And it's like, fast forward 2 years, and them 2 years went quick.
Yeah.
I'm up at Bad Boy with Biggie, with Puff,
yep,
with Faith. So
the whole family.
And me and Dick got signed at the same time.
Oh.
So me and Dick was up there. It's like, whoa, we were like just mesmerized, but at the same time, that pushed us to even go harder. Like, yo, we got to come with the heat. So of course, we the new kids on the block, and Puff just came in one day in the MIDI room. The MIDI room is where all the hitmen. That's what we just create. So the MIDI room, we had these two big ass speakers, a woofer, turntable, all the keyboards. It was dope room, but it was small and compact. And I'm talking about that's one of the best sounding rooms to this day. So and Puff had crates and crates and crates and crates of records. So that's when I had the opportunity to really just my ear expanded even more, being that I play by ear, and I had the opportunity to hear so many records. And he came in the studio and said, all right, Dunn, we got SWV's first single. I already got the idea. Now, you ready? I was like, yeah. And he put the daddy in, and it was 10 Crack Commandments. And that was my favorite song from Biggie, right? So I was like, and in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm about to kill this. I was like, and I did that track in about an hour, maybe.
An hour? What?
Yeah. I loaded it up because I chopped it up. I did it about an hour. And the thing too, you got to understand about the hitmen back then.
Yeah,
we were a machine.
Like, I was just about to say that was a big machine at the time. Bad Boy was running the 90s. I don't care what nobody say. I was 6 and 7, but I saw Puffy everywhere. You cannot escape him. But J-Dub, it's funny that you said that because, like I'm saying, in 10 Commandments, which is the sample of that. So, is this before Biggie passed, or did you do the record after he passed?
No, this might be a little bit after or before he passed.
Oh wow, this is literally like fresh off. Oh wow,
it was fresh because Biggie passed a little bit after me and Dent signed. I'll never forget.
Yeah,
we were in LA. Like we were in LA doing something. Puff flew us out to LA, and I never forget the first time I met Big. And of course, Big was big.
Oh yeah,
Big was the illest. So I was a fan still, right? I'm still a fan. Me and Dent a fan. I never forget. That's because he had hurt his leg or something, and he had a cane.
That car accident. Mm-hmm.
And he was walking in with a cane, and it was real quick. He's like, "Yo, what up?" I was like, "Yo, what up?" And he was with Junior Mafia, and we snapped up. Oh yeah, and we just super excited because we knew me and Dick was like we was plotting on Biggie. He was like, "Oh yeah, we gonna build your album."
Oh yeah, and he had that.
A little bit after that, he passed. Yeah, and we never got, the opportunity, when he was alive to work on his stuff. But yeah, so it was a little bit after that or before that. But Puff came in the studio with that 10 Crack Commandments, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I did the track, and I guess a few days later, Kelly Price came in and she wrote it. The rest, as you could say, is history. And I looked up too. It was like maybe 3 weeks later, Puff was like, I done, because I was living in Atlanta at the time. I was in Atlanta, but I would fly back and forth to New York.
So you never moved to New York. You were going back and forth at the time.
Wow. What? Forever, I love Atlanta.
Come on.
I've lived in LA. I lived in Houston. I lived in different places, but Atlanta has always been home.
I respect it. I respect it. Yeah. So we're getting to the album now, and I see where we're going with this time. And I noticed this is 1997, so this is like when hip hop, like Bad Boy, was at its peak up there. And it's just amazing because, like I said at the time, SWV, they were just coming off their last album, New Beginnings, 96. And I know it was kind of crazy. How did it feel at the time when they were coming out with New Beginnings? They had to come immediately with the next album. How did that feel at the time? Was like a different process for you to kind of understand their sound from New Beginnings to Release Some Tension? Like, how did you kind of take that and make someone?
So being that I knew that it was for SWV, I had like a little system, right?
Okay.
That I did, we did hip hop, we did everything, hip hop to R&B, right?
Come on.
So it was like, in my mind, if I knew what artist it was gonna be like if it was for a Black Rob and he was like 10 Crack Commandments, I just made it just grimy and hard.
Makes sense.
The thing why Puff loved me so much, he knew that I knew how to take a sample but make it musical, right? So with that one sample, because that's 10 Crack Commandments.
Yeah, it's a hard beat.
That ain't R&B at all.
No.
But he knew Puff, and I'm gonna say this: Puff say what people say what they want about Puff. Puff is a musical genius because he hears it. Like he know what he hears.
Just
right?
I give him that.
And the thing is, he knows how to pick the people that knows how to cipher what he's hearing.
Yeah.
Right? Because Puff, to some, Puff get in I do this. And for the people that's not musically trained, right? Or have an ear like me, they're like, oh, this nigga, he ain't. But I knew exactly. I'd be like, oh, you want this chord. Oh, that. So that was our connection. Immediately. He can say that, and I'm going to translate it yeah, done. All right, put this on there. So that was our connection. So with SWV, to get back to your question, how to make it like R&B, I would go through the process of, I would listen to the sample, I get the sample down, and then I would play it literally. I would listen to it, and I would hear, because it's always some music in any sample, or even if it's a tone, right?
Yes.
So I listened to it, and I knew how to, my style was, I knew how to transpose, tune the keyboards to the same key as the sample. And I was beginning to play chords on it. So that's how I made that R&B. I would play the chords on top of the hardness, but I would make it R&B by tuning it down and playing chords on top of it. And then mixing it in there where it's still hard, but at certain times I'm gonna bring them chords up. Yeah. So whoever writing into it or singing on it can hear it and sing on top of it.
And I hear it in that doggone bridge, because you can be I said, that's why I love that doggone bridge so much, because J-Dub, and I told you this earlier before, that is like my top 5 SWV from that release intention. That's number 3 for me. That is my favorite song. I'm so obsessed with that song. I don't know why. Like, I'm telling you, that was like my birthday thing when I was 29. So when I heard that, and I heard that, you know, the beat and the sound, you can tell it's a hard hip hop chord, but when you hear vocals on there, when you hear Lily vocals on there and Taj, it makes it very feminine. You know what I'm saying? Versus to what Biggie is hardcore, you know?
Right.
So for me, it's like, it's just so dope. And I don't know if you know this, you know, your song was sampled 3 times.
See? See?
Yes, someone has been sampled 3 times. A lady named Heather Victoria, she sampled it. A man named James Ivine, he sampled it. And then Knowledge, they sampled it. You know what I'm saying? So your song has been sampled 3 times. And it's just amazing when you can take that and people can take that chorus and just make it into a sample beat. But not that they can pay homage to it, and that's what I love about it. And I think for that alone right there, that speaks volumes. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love that song so much. And you got my friend Joy, he said, she's obsessed. I said, yes, I am obsessed with that song.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. I love it. I love
it too.
With the catalog.
But I want to ask you too, like, how was it? How did it feel when you saw SWV sing that for verses? Like, how did it feel for you when you saw that for yourself?
Starstruck.
Oh, yeah.
Because again, I was a fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, so I never forget, like, I was somewhere and I heard like they were, I think I was at a hotel or something. And he was like, yo, J-Dub. And they were like they knew me, but they did know me, but I was still like, they talking to me? It was still like, so it was, you know, at that time, again, you know, we were fresh, just getting in. So, and everything was happening so fast. It was just, you know, like we were still fans. So we were still like, still humble and still, you know, grinding it out. So it was like, we were like, wow. Man, we were still, you know, so it was just,
but for it to be played on verses, it goes to show you at the end of the day is that was a hit for them. You know what I'm saying? For the girls to be singing that going against Escape, I thought that was really dope. You know what I'm saying? Because it goes to show you that your catalog is huge. And I pray that y'all get a versus the Hitman, because we need the Hitman to have it. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all have done so much stuff, especially for yourself and your catalog and your legacy. I think it's amazing for that song to be a top 20 hit, for it to be 20 weeks on the charts. Like, that is huge. And it went gold. I think, to be honest, that's the only single to go gold. Yeah, and got Rain. And I always say this all the time. Rain is the best song off the album, but my top 3 is Rain, When You Cry, and Someone. Those 3 songs, to me, I feel make the album. You know what I'm saying? And I always say all the time, for me, like, you can have those ballads, and I'm a ballad girl. I love ballads, but I feel like if you have that hip hop flavor, what SWV always had, it brings it together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And for me, I know with this album, because a lot of people they love the debut all the time, and I get it. And I think for this, you know, a lot of people kind of feel with SWV's the release intention. I know it was a lot going on at that time. You know,
it was a lot going on.
Oh yeah, you know I know, and it's just for the point. For yourself, for you to manage to give them a hit at the time when they were getting ready to, you know, break up.
Because it was so much going on too. Like you said at the time.
Yeah.
But it was like somehow we just zoned in and shut out all the noise, and we went in and we created a hit for them. No doubt.
And I'm starting to think too now, you know how we always say producers always get the shout out, J-Dub? I think you may have been the first in the 90s to get that shout out before any producer. So I had to sit back and think, like, hold up. We always say Timberland and we always say Swiss and all them, but wait a minute. J-Dub,
I was like kind of first.
You were like the first. So
Puff and J-Dub,
what would you want?
Status, plus furry on the rugs and platinum plaques.
Let them know, J-Dub.
Roll it up. Ice down. Like, we wasn't playing no games. You
Come on.
Yeah,
I agree.
It was serious.
Bad
boy Hitman forever.
Come on. And look, you got my friend Jerry saying the Hitman will watch anybody in the verses. Look, I ain't got nothing to do with it.
And I'm gonna say this right now. Don't nobody want no smoke with us.
Ooh.
They know it. Don't nobody want no smoke with us collectively or individually.
Ooh.
And they know it.
Let me just say this. Whoever wants that challenge, hey, you better come with the smoke. That's all I gotta say. Look,
they don't want no smoke with the Hitman.
In the category from the R&B hip hop, you got them everywhere. You know what I'm saying? To the pop record. So we're not gonna go.
And all respect to all the brethren out there, Tim, Pharrell,
Yeah.
All of them. You know what I mean? They have my respect. But at the, I have a saying that I'm not better than anybody.
Come on.
Ain't nobody better than me.
Come on. But we can all have respect for each other and respect each other's legacy for what it is.
And we all respect each other. And shout out to B.A. Morgan, because Brian did SWV's first album, the whole album. And I studied him a lot. So that's another reason why I was able to pull that record off for them as well, right? Because I studied, like, that first album to me, like, I listened to every song. Like, weak candies playing how your love is making me good. To the interludes. Every time I am gonna try to like. So I get a lot of my production vibe from BA too. So again, shout out.
Amazing.
Yeah, I always pay respect to those that respect is due.
Amen. I agree with that 100%. You and Troy Taylor, everybody that was a part of that process, really, to me, gave them a great album, because, like I said, this is the album that I was introduced to SWV. So I didn't learn about the first one until I was like 11. But for me to still be introducing them to this third album, it go to show you that, to me, I was at an era where hip hop and R&B was really merging and dominating at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it was doing this.
Oh, it was doing a marriage, 100%. Like, it was just amazing. And to see y'all rise at that time, I feel like, to me, even though I was super young, I could understand melody and beats, but not now I can understand what the legacy of what Bad Boy was doing at the time, because it was huge. And I be telling people all the time, do not get it twisted. I might have been young, but I saw everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but from a amazing standpoint. But I wanted to ask you too, J-Dub, how did you feel when the album did go gold and it did reach number 5 on the R&B charts and it did reach number 82? How did you feel the time for your success at the time for you? I don't know if this was your first like big success with SWV at the time. Like, how did it feel at the time you kind of gained a momentum for you to have something under your belt with a group?
At that time, again, everything was happening so fast, right? Because I give you an example. I did like some overdubs. I worked on a record for it was Faith's album, right?
Yep.
And, back then we would put out the single before the album get done, right? And Puff ain't wasting no time. So when I say he didn't waste no time, of course, again, I'm flying back and forth. I flew up to New York to do my part on I never knew a love like that one, right? Shout out to G-Dot. So I came in and I laid down the keys on it, like on the weekend, and I'm flying right back home. I kid you not. Like, I'm in the mall like on a Tuesday. I'm like, how the heck is on the radio? When he mixed it? So it was like super quick. Everything was happening so fast. So, to hear that on the radio, like, I would hear it. But then again, I was mostly right back in the studio. So it wasn't like, a lot of people think like, oh yeah, you get to hear it on the radio. We didn't have really no time to listen to the radio, because we were right back in the studio, right back in the grind. So back then for us, we was working so much, we really didn't get a chance to really, celebrate the hits like that.
Right. And then, like I said, it was a machine. Yeah. It was a machine. It was huge. And I feel like for myself, when I seen all that at the time, it was just amazing to me, how the way y'all kind of just dominated the time. And it was just so dope. And I was really proud to like see that for SWV. That's why I honor you today, because you did my favorite song. That's why I was like, J-Dub, I'm upset. Like, you don't understand. Like, I almost got in trouble from my manager because I played that song so much, because I loved it so much. You know what I'm saying? I love someone like Release Potential is my favorite album.
Wow.
Baby from SWV is the best. But for me to still talk about, 25 years later of this amazing, iconic album, I just feel like, to me, at the end of the day, it's just a gem. And I want to shout out Taj, because Taj reposted us like every day from SWV.
What up, Taj?
So thank you so much, Taj, for that. I think she's just a beautiful, beautiful person for us to just be honoring her, honoring the ladies in general, but not even that, for honoring you and reposting you. I think that is amazing that she just still shows love to producers. So that's amazing. Thank
No
you.
doubt. No
So
doubt.
I want to ask you another question. Mr. J-Dub, this is the question I be giving all my people that I interview on this show. So you have made so many beautiful, iconic hits. I love Slowly. You know, that's my favorite Tank song. That was the best song on the album to me.
Slowly, yeah, that's my boy too. What up, Tank?
Yes. R.I.P. to the late great Aaliyah. The songs you did for her off the Red album is just amazing. And I talk about that every time. And I know congratulations on 21 years on that album as well.
Wow.
You did Kelly Price's Friend of Mine. And I shouted you out, J-Dub, on my Brandy episode, Never Say Never, because we did a game and we talked about the #1 hits and I shouted you out. So
okay.
Dear Friend of Mine, and also Kelly Price, she did shout you out on Vlad TV. I don't know if you ever seen that, but she shouted you out about Friend of Mine, how big that song was. So if you ever want to see that, I definitely send that to you about how she shouted you out.
To me. Yeah,
she shouted you out. Kelly showed you so much love. Yeah, so I'm talking about all these classic iconic hits, Mr. Dub. But I want to ask you, what is the key to making a hit record? And if you know that, what is your favorite hit from your catalog?
Okay.
Oh.
First off, I'm going to say that as creatives, everything that we do, you're like, woo! Like, like my creatives, they know. We're like, after it's done, we're like, woo! Ah! So we think that everything we do is a hit, right? It's like, so, but I will say, it's a hit when other people listen to it over and over, but they come back playing it over. So for us as creatives, again, we feel like everything we do is a hit. Mm. But when you get the confirmation from other ears, and it's like, wow. Because again, back then, like if the whole crew didn't like it, you had to go back to the drawing board. Oh. Yeah, it was tough being a hitman. Like, because if you played something that wasn't good, probably be like, oh, you about to get your hitman card revoked.
What? So he was making on the man.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, you can't bring it up. So, I mean, it was really, tough. So it was like always competition, but not the competition like I got to be better than you, but the competition like, yo, I got to bring my A game all the time. So it made us better, but that's why our catalog is what it is, right?
200 million sold.
200 million. So we always had, like, oh, everything we do is a hit. Yeah. But I would say, it's a hit when you get the plaque. Woo! When it go gold, when it go platinum, and back then we didn't have streams, so people really had to buy the record in order, so when people start buying a record, or when you start hearing it or getting wind of it on the radio, spin, that's how it's like, oh, okay, I got a hit, But until it come out and people hear it and start loving it, you really can't really know. But I will say the key to making a hit is never get caught up with what other folk doing, right?
I agree.
You can't get caught up like, okay, that was a hit, so let me listen to radio, and the last hit, I'm gonna make a hit like that. You will never get a hit that way. The only way you get hits is when you have your head down and you stay true to what you do, right? Mm. I've always been, again, that comes from me growing up playing and being, and I was raised, I'm the only child, I'm the first grandson, so I was raised and instilled like, Jeffrey, you, like I knew I was good, because I knew I put in the work as well. I practiced every day.
That's right.
Every day. So I knew I was good. So it was like, you have to have the confidence in what you do, right? And you can't listen to what's on the radio, or you can't listen to what's hot right now. You have to go in the studio and do what's hot to you and be true to the gift that God gave you, right?
Come on.
Because we all have individual gifts. So why am I trying to be like what's on the radio? That's their gift. It's a hit. You know why it's a hit for them? Because they was true to what they was doing.
Right.
So in order to make a hit, you have to be true to the gift God gave you. So be true to the music that God gives you. If people like it or not, it don't matter because that's what God gave you. And then when you're authentic, you know, it like it's just something about people's ear. When it's authentic, they know it and they love it. Thus, you know, that's how you start beginning to build not only hits, but you start building your own authentic sound. Well. Yeah.
Woo! Gems drop. J-Dub. I see why you are who you are. Music Jedi, sir.
No doubt.
That is so amazing. But yes, I 100%. You have to stay true to the music because I think people get so caught up in the hype of what it is now. They're not being honest with themselves.
And you know what? It's so easy to do that too. Because even back then, to this day, a lot of A&Rs, you know, a lot of them, shout out to the ones that's doing the thing and got ears, but that's very far in between, right? Most of them don't have an ear.
No.
So what they do is they just want to keep their job.
Yeah.
So they say, give me a hit like this. Give me a hit like so and so and so. I was like, well, if you want to hit like that, you better go over there and talk to them. I'm not going to give you that. I'm going to give you what I'm going to give you if you like it. If you don't, I'm good anyway.
That part.
You know, so, and I know people's like, well, you know, you were, you know, you already had hits. I was like that from jump. You know, like you have to stand true on your gift.
Yep.
You have to stand true on what God gave you. And once you start conforming, right? Oh, you say, okay, I'm gonna do it this time. What that sound like? Then you doing what something else that ain't you, so it's not gonna come out right. So you have to stay authentic to who you are, and that's just like, and that's what I tell all my producers that I mentor now. Like, yo, you know, stay true, and I never try to steer them outside of their sound because I know, like, each one of them have an individually sound that's dope.
Right.
You know, so it's like you just gotta stay true to, you know, stay true to the music.
Stay true to the music. I love that, J-Dub. So what is your favorite hit from your catalog? So you got all these extensive hits, sir. What is your favorite hit?
Sheesh. Well, I can't.
I have one. It's Caramel Kisses. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Shout out to the rest in peace, Chucky.
Yeah. It's been 1 year. R.I.P.
Yeah. Because Chucky produced that track. I came in and laid the top. I laid the piano.
You did a great job.
and you know what? That's crazy that you brought that song up.
That's the best. That's the best song off the album to me, in my personal opinion.
That's one of my sessions that I could never forget. I cut that part, the top at the old Hit Factory in New York, and that's a legendary studio. No, you know and of course every time we there, we had the biggest room. And when I say this room, it was big like a movie theater room. It was so, and I'm talking one of the biggest SSL boards. I mean, it was just beautiful. The vocal booth was beautiful, and they had this beautiful, like 20,000 foot baby grand piano. And I'll never forget. And I had to go in, and just like you, I love that song. I got chills every time. I was like, woo, I love it. So when I got the call to come in to play the tops, I was, oh yeah. So I was there, I'm listening to it. So I listened to it. So how I play my person, I listened to it one time on the big speakers. That's why I don't know why my ears I still can hear. Look, thank you, Lord. But I listen to stuff really loud. So I turned it up, I listened to it. I was like, okay, all right, I'm ready. And when I went in there, I sat down, put the headphones on, I never forget, Puff, who was in the control room? Puff, I think Faith was in there, and Dent was there, and I think some of Junior Mafia was there. You know, because our sessions used to be live, and everybody was there. I never forget. And I sat down at that piano, put that thing, and it just, the music just came on so beautifully. And when I say I laid my part down, one take.
One take?
Because a lot of times I like to say, okay, play it back. And they played it back. I was like, because I was going to change something. Puff was like, get out of here. And that's the take that you hear. Like, I did that.
And that's why at 12 years old, when my mama went to work, that mug was getting played every time. I loved it.
Yeah.
To me, it's her best album, but I feel like at the same time, excuse me, like for me, what you did for the album, like I said, my girl Paige, who gave you so much love for what you did on the album, was just so amazing. But for me, like something about that song is like a juggernaut. It's just
I tell you, I felt the same way. I was like, oh, I love this. And you know what? I think that's how I have the album after that.
What? Because of that?
I think once Puff heard me do that part, he said, "Oh yeah, that was that's was that marriage." And then I ended up, and let me tell you, I didn't realize I did have the album until like maybe years later. So I'm listening to it, but again, that's how things just happen. So I listened to the album, all right. I listened to the intro, then I listened to the next song. Like I did that. I said, let me look at these credits. I think it's like 14 songs on there. I did 7, about 7 or 8 of them.
50% of the album, and it was the shit. Period. It was the shit. So for me, my little young self to be so enamored by that, I just was really amazing. For my mom to buy that album, it go to show you, like I was just really touched. But not even that. Faith has the most beautiful gospel church voice. That's why I think y'all blend in so well together, because you have that church. And for me, I heard her sing live on a performance of "Never Gonna Let You Go." I like her church version better than the song, because she went to church on her live version. It's like
vocal beast, like her and Kelly Price.
Pen game. She did the background for
sing game. It's just
J-Dub. Like, she did the background vocals for "Superstar" for Usher. That's enough for me.
Right.
Come on. Yeah. Like nobody want to fuck with Bad Boy.
No, you don't want to do that. So it's like, to say like my favorites, I would say I would have to pick like a few, right? Because I've worked with so many. I would say Faith's album was definitely one of my favorite, because I vividly kind of remember that whole process, and it was just it was like, and it was, I remember then that's when I felt like I knew I had like made it, right? Because working with Bad Boy as well, it was like, again, we're grinding so hard, but then it's like after a while you start getting the black cars coming to pick you up, and the Mercedes Benz. But watch this, when it went from the Lincoln Town cars to the Mercedes Benzes, the 500s picking you up, and you go in the different studios, and our sessions would be like the 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. We come out and I see like that 500 wait for me. Like, I like this.
You made it.
And it was the process too, because we were doing her album, so we had Bad Boy rented out, Hit Factory rented out, and another studio. So I'm going back and forth to each studio. And I was like, it was a beautiful, fun experience, and it was like, that was one of the times in my career when I felt like, yo, dog, you doing it, and it was really, it was amazing. So that project was super fun, and of course, if I had to do the top 2, it would be Faith's project and Baby Girl's project.
Oh, don't even get me started. I told you I refused number 1 in my favorites. I'm sorry.
And that was the song I was going to say. That was like one of my favorites.
J-Dub, what you did for Aaliyah, that girl, and me and Jared have said this on the live plenty of times. That is Aaliyah's best album, number 1. I don't care what nobody say. She might have the other 2. Yes, whoopie. But that third album, that Red album,
I agree. It's
top tier. And
it's nothing like it.
Shout out to my girl, my Benty. She found so much stuff about, and I don't want to tell you this. I meant to tell Eric and all them, but we did a celebration of the 21st anniversary of the Red album. And she made it very clear. She said if Aaliyah was still here on this earth, God rest her soul, that she said if anybody had to be on a production team, the Red album, the 18, will be the only people that she need to be with. And I agree 100%. For that girl to say that alone, for what y'all knew what Aaliyah was going, at the time with music, it's now I see 21 years later what people are trying to do now. You know what I'm saying? Because we call her the queen of alternative R&B. We do, because it was so many plethora of genres in that album that I appreciate more now. Back then, at the time, I didn't get it, but as I'm getting older now, I understand what that album meant to her. Because I said in one word, I said that's Aaliyah, period. And we made it blatantly clear that y'all were the only people that need to be on the Red, on anything she did after Abby. She was still here, period.
Yeah. I agree.
Yes.
Because that time, that was what, again, I can remember that process vividly because we cut the album in New York, we cut the album in LA, and then we cut the album in Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, I know y'all had fun.
That process was so much fun. Yeah. And what I refused, I produced that track at the Music Grinder, Hollywood Music Grinder. That was like our home base when we were in LA, the Music Grinder. And I never forget, my sessions always had to have candles. I'm just a
Young Prince.
Pretty much. I'm a vibeologist. All the lights got to be down low, and then the lights from the board's gonna set the vibe. And I would have so many candles.
Yeah.
I had candles around the board, candles everywhere. And I never forget. And for some reason, I just had some rain. It was playing, the rain. So I got on the piano, and I said, and it just came. It was like, and I just built it from there. Then I heard horses. And I put the horses in. Say, whoa, this is going somewhere. But mind you, I didn't have the beat, right? Because if you listen to it, it's really classical.
That's right? To me, it sounded like medieval classical music.
Right.
I'm a music head, so my ear is very big. So I'm hearing like this is very medieval classical type of tone.
It was totally Bach. It was totally Beethoven, right? So I was like, yeah, the vibe is there. I was like, how am I gonna do this beat? And then that's when that syncopated rhythm came. I was like, whoa! And then when I made that beat, I knew I had something. And then from there, I just build it. And if you don't know why it sounds like I love your ears is on point. It's evil gothic, right? Then
dark.
I had this electric guitar in the studio, and it's a guitar that's playing like what, ding, ding, and I put that in there, and then of course I heard thunder. I put the thunder in there, and it was just like, whoa! And it's like about 4 o'clock in the morning. God rest Static. Static came in the room.
Oh, that pen.
Static said, "What is this, J-Dub?" And when I say he went in there, because he pinned that album.
Oh, that pen, shit. That pen ain't no joke.
Yeah. And see, he heard it, and man, that boy was a genius. He sat down and he listened to it, and the way he writes, right, you would think he would be off rhythm, but he's not off rhythm. Just the way he writes, and everybody that knows the road is Static. So once he get in that zone and he start rocking how he do, you know something about to be crazy. I say about 15 minutes, he's like, all right. And when he went in there and said, "This is where I take to draw the line," I was like, "Oh Lord." Okay, that's one of them. When you asked me earlier, how do you know it's a hit? Sometimes you know it's a hit. And when he did, and it don't take long for you to know. When he said, "This is what I got to draw the line," as I'm confused, I was like, "What? How'd you write that?"
Yeah.
Right? And he demoed it, and baby girl heard it, and the rest, I say, is history. And that's when we ended up in Melbourne, and she cut some of the vocals there, and we ended up finishing the vocals at the Enterprise back in California.
Yeah. I mean, J-Dub, I tell people all the time, I said, if I had to listen to any song off that album, I Refuse is up there. It is up there. But
and let me tell you too, fun fact about that record. I use and again, I'm just because I'm musical, I can. And I like I hear all the instruments. When I do a track, I hear everything, the horns, the strings. And it was such a blessing. And at that time, I was who I was, so I was able to do whatever I wanted to do in the studio. So my thing is back that time, if it's 72 tracks on the board, I'm using every last one of them.
Yeah. Right?
So that was my thing. So on that record, man, the board at the Music Grinder, it was at least about 48 tracks, right? 24 on this side, 24 on this side. Yeah, I used so many tracks. We had to bring in 2 extensions to mix that record because it's a live orchestra on there too, as well. It's like a
dramatic, especially in that bridge. No. Wait. I love that part. That's my favorite.
That's all a live orchestra. So it was just a blessing, and that was one of my biggest records, and it was like a dream come true because producers know, sometimes they hear strings, but they don't got no budgets to get no whole orchestra. Like I had the blessing to because I played it, of course. I was like, I'm hearing the orchestra on there. So yeah, that was really a huge record to mix as well.
I think record. To me, J-Dub, like I tell you, it's my favorite all the time. Before God rest her soul, Aaliyah, to sing the acapella version, that's when I knew. I said, wait a minute, like, where did this song come from? And when I got the album, and I remember when the beat dropped, and when I heard the words when she sung it, I said, this is a song that she sung in Paris. I was like, but that go to show you, Aaliyah loved every song off that album, because for her, mind you, We Need a Resolution. We had, Rock the Boat didn't come out at the time, but We Need a Resolution. I think More Than Woman, she did the video for that before she did Rock the Boat. Yep. But for her to give you recognition for I Refuse in Paris, she took that song across the world. It goes to show you, J-Dub, at the end of the day, that song meant something to her to sing the acapella, and that's for me to hear that at 12 years old, and I don't want to cry. Lord, I did enough crying.
Because I also get a little emotional on that record too.
Yes,
because it's so. If you listen to how she sung it, you can hear it in her voice, right?
Yes.
It's like certain times you can hear it, and she meant it.
She 100%. That's why I said for me, it is number one of the top 5 of my favorite songs from the album, because everything you did for her, I think for everybody off the Red album, that goes to show you at the end of the day why we love it. And that's why for us, it wasn't like anything that music is now today. And I think because y'all were the trendsetters and y'all were the first to do that, make that queen alternative. That's why, my favorite artist is Brandy. Trust and believe.
I love Brandy.
Let me tell you right now, me and Joe have said this plenty of times. They listened to that damn Red album and they were inspired. That's why I got
to this day.
Come on, my city. You already know. Come on. We're not crazy.
To this day, they listen to it and get inspired because, like you said, it's so eclectic. You got shout out to Butter. Butter was Dre. Butter did Dog Dre stuff. King Beats, they were just the funk masters. We had Eric, Rapture, myself, Butter, everybody, Tim, and all of us on one album. And watch this, but the way we all were able to come together, right? Yeah. No egos. When I say we didn't have egos, I go to beat session dang, but we would get inspired, not I gotta. And I get inspired, and then they'll come in my room. They get inspired. And it just all, I think, being that we were all on one accord, really, in the spirit of we gonna make the best album that we can.
Yeah.
Versus, because a lot of times you have an album like that, it's like, oh, this production squad over here because they got to do this squad over there. No, we did everything basically together, and I think that's why the album came out like that too. With it,
14 million copies later.
Jeez.
And that's why it's diamond worldwide. It's
Praise
diamond.
God. Praise
okay, because we love that album. Everybody does. Because I remember the day it dropped, we was ready. I was ready September 10th. I said, she got the other, but I was waiting. I knew it. I said, soon as it dropped, I told everybody, I said, y'all, the Red Album is out. And I was just so proud. And y'all truly deserve everything. I do, from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, and you know what? For us, too, it was such a long time coming because you remember, like, shortly after the album was done, like, you got to think about that. So, like, we had put, like, our heart and soul in that record.
Oh, 100%.
Like, we flew halfway around the world.
Yeah.
To do it. And it was like, I never forget those sessions. Like, she was shooting The Queen of the Dam, right? That movie. And she would come in, so she'd be tired. And again, she was an artist. Like, she was serious about it. Like, most artists could not handle her schedule. Period.
That part.
She was shooting a movie halfway around the world, but was so dedicated still. Because you know, a lot of artists, after they do get to a certain level of music and they are able to transition to movies, they're like, okay, yeah, I'll put out a record whenever. No, she was committed to it all. Like, so she would go in during the day, shoot the movie, and then in the evening, she would come in and cut the vocals with us. So when we worked together, I never forget, like, and she's like, she was an angel. Like, she come in and she's so real and so down. It's like she come in and then we get our vodka because we drink vodka before the sessions. We get our vodka and we drink. And we would just sit and talk, and she'd tell me all her day, and she'd be taking off her makeup. She's like, I hate all this damn makeup. She's taking off her makeup. And we just sitting there, we talking. And those sessions were just, it was like we were family over there. It wasn't just like, oh, you know, it was like a family. And again, you can hear it on the album. So that was like one of, you know, the one of my favorite records to do.
Yeah. And that's why I thank you for making that record. And I just love it for Aaliyah to sing it. I mean, it go to show you I listened, and I made sure for me it was a timeless song for me. And that's why every time I hear that song, even though she has passed, it's almost be 21 years this year, I'm gonna always remember I Refuse. Like, everybody, like, you know, I got Rock the Boat. Don't get me wrong, Rock the Boat is the best song to me.
Yeah, that's my jam too.
Yeah, Rock the Boat is everything. But I Refuse. Woo, that's a chokehold.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I love it, J-Dub. Thank you so much. So I wanted to ask you another question, sir. So I know you've been doing so many great things. You've done composing. Congratulations on that. You won ASCAP awards. You did great things for Tyler Perry. I didn't even know you did Meet the Browns. And mind you, my family used to watch that show all the time. And House of Pain. Oh yeah, we were Louisiana. We were obsessed.
Okay.
But I think that it's so amazing that you've done so much, like scores and being a composer. Like, what are you doing right now? And how did you kind of get into that realm now in TV versus after, you know, as years gone by in the music industry?
That's a great question. For me, you know, I started, you know, I had hits in 96, right?
Yeah.
So for me, you know, I'm blessed because I've been able to stay in the game so long. But I've also been in the game to watch it kind of go downhill too, right? Yeah. So during that time, I think it was around, you know, Baby Girl had passed.
Yeah.
So I think we were all just devastated.
Oh yeah.
You know, like the whole team, right?
Yeah.
So to the point where, like, I took a sabbatical. Like, you know, wasn't nobody. You didn't feel like making no music after that, right? And then again, it happened so quick. How many months after the album dropped did she pass?
It was like, to me, she died on my aunt's birthday, so that's how I remember. I will forever remember that. But The album dropped July 17th. It was a month and a week she passed.
That's what I was about to say. It couldn't been no more than 2 months.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, when it dropped, that I remember that, like, we were everywhere. We were doing press conferences. And the thing I love about Baby Girl, she was real. It's like she made sure that the whole team, right? The whole team, me, Tim, Rap, everybody was there. You know, it's like every press conference. So we in LA, we in New York, and it was this excitement, and it dropped, and we're like, woohoo! We knew that we was gonna be the next it from this album, right? So you have to think about like, yes, we're excited, and then all of a sudden, I never forget, I got a call. It was like Baby Girl's plane crash, and it was like, you know, when you hear something, but you're like, nah, I didn't hear that right.
Yeah.
So we didn't even have time to grieve before we got the call that the plane crashed, and then maybe 3 days later, like everybody get tickets because we got to go to New York for the funeral. So it's like it was like slow motion, and it was like, whoa. So I don't think any of us on the team had the proper time to really grieve or really, you know, a second felt like, damn, what happened?
What happened?
Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, we took a sabbatical. I took a sabbatical. I didn't feel like doing music for a while. And so, of course, I moved from LA and I came back to Atlanta for a while. And my uncle, he has a church in Tennessee. And this is around maybe 2006, 2007. Yeah, I took a few years off. And I still was, once a bad boy hit man, always a bad boy hit man.
Come on.
Every album that Puff has done to this day, J-Dub is all over it. Be it either I produced it or he gonna call me in to tune up everybody else's stuff.
Right.
I fixed up Tim's stuff, Pharrell stuff, everybody's stuff, because that's just my ear. I'm gonna come in and put the keys on it, right? So, you know, of course, I'm still working with Puff, but outside of Puff, I wasn't taking too much work or anything. So I was in Atlanta, and I got the call. My uncle, he has a church in Clarksville, Tennessee. And it's around 2006, 2007. He was like, Jeff, well, my musician, you know, he left, and I was wondering, could you come on up here and help me out? And I said, yeah, I'm gonna come up and help you out. So this is also at the time when, you know, music was transitioning.
Oh yeah,
changing.
Crunk and B, y'all took Atlanta, took over. Y'all took Atlanta, just wiped everybody.
So it was Crunk and B, right?
But it was around,
and the whole game was changing. And for me, I had hits before, and the music really wasn't what I was doing, right? And not only that, you know, being a bad boy hit me and how we got paid. What happened was the younger producers, they've started coming up, and I love technology because I use it today, but with the Fruity Loops and all that, they were able to make music. And what would happen was, being that the A&Rs, they don't know a hit from a Cracker Jack box, they would mess with these cats and they would like undercut the product. Right? We get 50, 60, 70 racks a track. But then all of a sudden, with the technology and stuff, they going to these kids, they getting tracks they selling tracks for 500, 1,500. To the point, you know, I'm still coming in, well, shoot, I got to get 20. I need at least 20 racks. And they're like, well, we can get X, Y, and Z. I was like, okay, well, you go get X, Y, and Z. I'll see you later, right? Because Puff has spoiled us. And still, you know, when Puff called, Puff come with the bag.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, again, I'm working with Puff, so I'm straight. And the music has started shifting.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't about to dumb down my sound to appease these, you know, what was going on.
Yeah, I know.
So my uncle called, and I was like, okay, I'm going to Clarksville. So I went to Clarksville and I played for my uncle for about, I say from 2007 to 2009. I was the MOM, Minister of Music.
Come on, Miss. Oh, you know I know that. Minister of
I was
Music.
the Minister of Music at my uncle's church, Clarksville, Tennessee. Shout out to my uncle, Pastor Carl Timons, Walnut Grove in Clarksville, Tennessee. I was the MOM there for about a good 2 years. And then, you know, I started, you know, I'm still getting calls like, Dub, where you at, Dub? So I moved back because I still was back and forth. Because Clarksville, Tennessee from Atlanta is only a 4-hour drive.
Oh, so, wow.
Yeah. So sometimes I would stay up there or sometimes I just drive back after church. So finally, I was like kind of done with the church. And I'm to keep it real. Church folk.
It's a time. You had your time.
Yeah, and like I you know, I did my time and I helped my uncle out. And,
right.
And it was just time for me to, you know, transition because that wasn't nothing I was gonna do anyway forever.
Oh so, yeah.
I'm back in Atlanta and I get the call. I'll never forget this 2009, around May 2009. And I get the call from Shantae Page. Shout out Shantae Page. That's my sister.
Oh, I know her. Yes, Shantae Page. Okay.
Yeah, I know that's exactly my girl. Shantae Page.
So dope.
She hit me up. She's like, Dub, and she's kind of frantic. It was like on a Friday. She's like, Dub, I'm so glad to talk to you. The guy that was doing the music over here, I'm over at Tyler Perry's, and I'm she was like the music supervisor. I'm the music supervisor, and the guy, Tyler, doesn't like him or something. They thought, well, he wasn't scoring no more, and they needed somebody to come in and score. And she said, first person I thought of was you, you know. And I said, okay. I said, okay. Shantae, what you need? Yeah, I do it. Because I'm thinking like Tyler Perry. And I was like, okay. So I said, what you need?
Getting up there.
She's like, Dub, I need about 50 music beds.
50. Woo! 50.
She's like, how soon can you do them? I said, Shantae, you'll have them this weekend. When I say, and my girl Paris France, shout out to Paris, she was there, and Yaru, my homie Yaru, they can attest to this. So I got the call. It was like early that morning. I was like, don't worry about it. So to break it down, what a music bed is, it's the score in sitcoms. You know when the breaks like
yeah,
or you know the scenes where it got to be funny and you hear the music. That's those are called beds.
Oh,
beds, right. Okay. So they're about 30 seconds to a minute.
Okay.
But he needed 50 of them. So I was like, cool. Yeah, but okay.
But you're a musical genius, so they ain't nothing to you.
I was like, because they're only a minute. I was like, okay, girl, you have them. I got you. I did those 50 beds in like, it was Friday. I think I was done like Saturday night.
Damn! That mentality. That bad boy.
Yeah, I get can't stop, won't stop. And Puff created a monster. Like, I mean, that's just my mentality. So she calls like, oh, I got you. Because another thing too, we couldn't go to sleep in the studio.
For real?
As a hitman, in our studio, like, well, you could if you wanted to. You wake up with mayonnaise, hot sauce all on your eyes. You just, and they taking pictures of you. So you like, you know, but that created our mentality.
Yeah.
And our drive. Like when we in the lab, and it's not done until it's done.
Come on.
Right? So she called me with that. And I was like, okay, I got you. So like Saturday, I hit her with the music bed. She hit me right back. She's like, oh, duh, this is awesome. I'm going to call you Monday and let you know what he thinks. She called me Monday and said, duh, he loved all of them. You got the job. Look at God. So, you know, I was blessed in that I didn't have to do that hustle. Because
come on, yeah.
Music production around 2009, all through the mid 2000s, it was a hustle, and it was a lot of kiss ass, and it was a lot of dumbing down the music.
Oh yeah,
it was a lot of click shit.
Once Soulja Boy came in, it was a wrap.
Yeah, and again, I've never been one to be in cliques or needed to be in one, and I was never gonna dumb down my music. God knew that. That's why I got the call. So from 2009 to almost 2012, I was the main scorer for Tyler Perry's Meet the Browns and House of Pain.
Oh,
and it was such a blessing. And two, I got spoiled too because it was so easy.
yeah.
They would shoot the scene, right? They shoot the scene, and Shantae would send it to me with just notes like, okay, Dub, I want this to be a minute and a half, and we need it to be funny. Tyler said it should be like this, and it needs to feel like that. And then, I interpret that really good. I say, okay, and I'll look at it. She'll send it. I put on some headphones, put on my headphones and a laptop for 2 years. That's all I need. I ain't no speakers. I ain't need nothing.
What?
Headphones and my MacBook laptop. She sent me the scene. I look at it, score it, send it back. Boom. I get my check at the end of the week. And mind you, I'm scoring about 10, 15 beds a week.
Come on. Oh, man.
And so it was a blessing. So I did that for 2 years. And so from there, I was blessed, working with Tyler. I also scored a few of his plays. I was able to score a few, and his brother shoots movies. I scored a few movies. Then I was able to do a few movies, score a few movies in LA. So it was just like I was open to a whole new world of production just outside of making records. So, shout out to Tyler for giving me my first chance in on that side. And it just, I went from TV to commercials to movies. So I was able to add that to my resume and won my third ASCAP award.
Right, 3-time ASCAP. I was gonna throw that out there. I was gonna do it for the introduction, but I say now I'm gonna throw that out there in the middle of our interview.
Matter of fact, if you see, that's the one on the wall. I got plaques on plaques.
Oh, I see it right.
One of my favorites. So I keep it close and near.
Yeah. That is amazing, J-Dub. And that's why, I started to realize and understand about your legacy that you have a gift for you. Like I call you little Prince, little Babyface. That's all in that category. But I feel that, J-Dub, for what you have done so much in this industry, I'm truly proud of you. And that's why I had to interview you today because, like I said, this man, it was so crazy to even just condense all your hit, like so much you had. I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to try my best. But I'm so happy that you're telling your story and to make people understand about this industry. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't understand it takes a lot of hard work. But I respect you enough because, like I used to talk about earlier, your authenticity speaks volumes because you never change for anybody. You always stay
true. And I'm going to tell you, though, at the beginning of my career, that's why I say you can't listen to these A&Rs, y'all.
Oh, hell no. They don't know nothing.
You know what they used to tell me?
What?
They used to say, J-Dub, you too musical.
What?
At the beginning of my career, they would say that I was too musical. And that used to baffle the hell. I was like, but ain't this music? Ain't also but watch this. Well, watch this. Them same A&Rs that was talking that smack after I got my first hit. Oh, J-Dub, we love you.
That part.
Boy, man. So that's going to show you can't listen to these A&Rs. You got to stay true to who you are. Whoa. And eventually, you stay true, they gonna come on in.
Oh, and I'm agree with you because Kelly Price said the same thing. Them ARs are a joke. They're a straight joke.
And I know how my sister talk.
Oh, you know she went. Oh, when I see you that clip, you know she went there.
I know she went there for you to say because that sounds just like they're yeah.
It's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? They don't know music.
Somebody else, and by the time it come out, that sound won't even be hot no more.
That part it's a recycled sound. That's why I just be so bothered sometimes. It just that's why I just have to give you so much respect. So now, Mr. J-Dub, since today is the 25th anniversary of this iconic album, SWV, Release Some Tension, my favorite. If you had to describe one word about this album, what one word would it be?
Well, fun. I still, like I said, some projects stick out more, like the process.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was fun because, and also that was my first video, right? That was my first video.
You was in the.
So that was a lot of fun. Like I never forget. I met Phipps. When I got my outfit, I never forget. Because I didn't they didn't pick my clothes. I came to New York with my own outfit. It was this black Versace shirt. I got it. I'm wearing it. It's this Versace shirt that I got. So I remember down to the T what I wore. I had a Versace shirt on, and When I got there, Puff was in the helicopter, shooting his
video.
We was in a helicopter. They had shut down the streets, and then we in a Ferrari shooting my scene.
Yeah.
So that whole project and that whole process it was fun. It was fun. Yeah, I had fun. So describe that fun.
That's amazing. I gave it 3 words. I said it made a statement. Because I know.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I like that because they did because like you said, it was so much going on.
Oh yeah, they were changing.
You know what? That album could have easily not been what it was.
Right?
Yeah, but and shout out to my sisters SWV. They kept their head in the game and they brought it. And thus we're still talking about that record 25 years later.
Come on. And then for God rest Kim Porter soul, she passed away. God rest her soul.
Yeah.
For them to bring When You Cry from Release from Tension to dedicate that to her, I said, that is great. People still remember Release Some Tension. Like, that is crazy when they pick When You Cry out of all the songs you can pick.
Right.
You pick When You Cry from the Release Some Tension album. That's why I said for me, it's my favorite because even though this was my introduction to SWV, I was so proud of them because even at the time, I didn't know who they were until, in 2000, so I got to learn the catalog. Mm-hmm. They were always hip-hop. They were always R&B.
Always hip-hop.
They were always who they were to the authentic self. And that's why, for me, I give this album so much credit and kudos because some people, they like, I like the first one. I like the third one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's my favorite. But I understand for what it was, for what they were doing. They were trying to make a statement to always be true to themselves.
Authentic to who they were. Yes. Like I talk about.
Yeah.
And another reason I think that's why that record did so well, because even though it was the 10 Commandments, I'm gonna tell you a lot on the album too. It's a lot of that is Twinkie Clark too. A lot of that.
What?
Twinkie Clark. Like
what?
It was like me bringing up what she taught me, and a lot of that I heard, and then I'm quite sure that's why Kelly penned it like that, and that's why when they heard it to come in to record it, they sung it like that. Yeah. Right? It was just layer to layer to layer. It was like you said, it was still authentic hip hop. You don't get no more hip hop than 10 Commandments. But we put the tops on it, and it was just, I like. The more I listen to it, because you got me listening to it now, this was, and so I started listening to it. I'm in the truck like, woo, this thing, yeah, woo, boom, I'm like, yeah, so yeah.
Look, I was 29 at the time, so I was a little bit too obsessed with it. I said, okay, I gotta calm down because it was getting to it. It was getting crazy, like, and not in a bad way, but I just loved it. I just loved that song. That song was just a juggernaut for me at 29. Like, I'm trying to celebrate my 29th birthday, and I wanted to be like the video, like, crunk. You get what I'm saying? But for me to still think about that at that time, 20 plus years later, it goes to show you that song, that whole album to me is timeless. And so that's why people like you did, J-Dub. When I realized you were doing that, I did that because I was going to interview you for the Boys and Men. And I was like, I got to get J-Dub for SWV. Because, Evolution makes 25 years next month. Like, ooh, J-Dub, you got so much catalog. It's ridiculous at this point.
Wow.
You 25 plus years in the game, sir. So
all glory to God, too.
Come on. Period. I just love it, J-Dub. So I want to ask you now, what current projects are you doing at the moment right now? I know you got so many new artists like Christina. I love her so much. Give her all my love for me. She's so sweet. She supports my page.
Christina,
what are you doing with her projects and other people? Like, what are you doing now in the current R&B stages?
Currently, I'm working out my production deal with Barry Hankerson right now. That's a whole story, but that's another interview.
Oh, Lord, okay.
yeah, but we're finally in talks to finalize that. But outside of that, what I'm currently working on now is an NFT label that I have with my wife. We're in the NFT space. And
I didn't be funny, y'all. You all love that stock stuff that you do, sir.
So we're doing an NFT label, and right now we have a project where we're doing we have like 250 NFTs, and it's a whole project. It's like a collection, right? Like Picasso. We're doing an NFT collection, working on that, And outside of that, on the music scene, I'm doing another beat EP project. It's like a Quincy Jones, Quincy Jones did Back in the Block, and he got all the artists. Well, of course, I'm no Quincy Jones yet.
Nah, you got that title. You got enough of that, sir. You do.
But
in that realm, yes.
Thank you. But I've started, on a catalog like that. So I have it's called BDP, where I'm working with a lot of different artists known. But this time I'm working with a lot of young upcoming artists. So I'm doing
that real R&B back.
Yeah. Basically working on that, and then I'm always just writing and just building the catalog as well. So so it's I'm always gonna be busy in music, and then outside of music, during COVID, I was blessed to learn a new skill, and that's trading in the Forex market.
Hey, right, which I was trying to get in, because I love.
Well, we gonna talk about it. Because I teach it now. So so I'm teaching people how to read the markets and trade, and that's like, for me, I innately knew how to do that, because for me, when I look at a chart, I see music, and it just made sense. And it comes to find out what I'm reading is it's right what you're reading. So I just honed that skill. So I'm heavy into that now, and trading the Forex market. So between trading, NFTs, my project, and finalizing finally my own production label deal, it's just it's just real exciting times for me. Yeah. But I will say this too, to every young aspiring artist that's really trying to do this, it's a process.
Come on, thank you.
And don't expect your process. I mean, I love social media, but when we was coming up, all we had it wasn't Facebook. It was like MySpace. And we really had that, right? We wasn't none of that snap here. No, you had to read the Vibe magazine, right?
Oh yeah.
And to find out, so it wasn't like overnight. So I got a chance to understand the process, and not only that, appreciate the process. And now that I'm older, looking back at, because I mentor a lot of artists and younger producers, and even then sometimes they expect it to happen overnight. But I will say, no, it nothing happens overnight, and everything is a process.
Come on.
Every day you ain't gonna be in the studio. It's gonna be some seasons where you ain't got no work. But don't get discouraged in that part of your process. What you do is, when you're not working or when you're not hot, because I don't care who you are, you ain't gonna be hot forever. You're gonna have your periods. The key is, and my longevity is, I stayed working even when I wasn't working.
Come on.
You got to stay working and stay writing, stay perfecting your craft. Because the thing about it, when you stay ready, you ain't never got to get ready.
Get ready.
You know what I'm saying? So when I would get calls, to this day, when I get a call, I don't have to go in and be like, oh, I got to search for no beats, because I just did about 5 beats the other day.
That part.
Still.
You always be on live. I always jump in the live and see you always working, sir.
Yeah.
That's why you need to have a versus, to be honest. But I mean, hey, I'm gonna leave it alone.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, I'm here any day. Anybody, we can any studio, any day, 24. Like, if y'all want some smoke, come on. I'll be there. And I don't need and just have a piano and some drums and a bass guitar. I don't need no MPC. I don't need no software.
Look, J-Dub, after what I have seen from the last verses, we need some real music and real voice.
Did you see that? I'm like, yo. But like you said, it's time to bring it back, though. Yeah. It's time to really, show, these kids too, because they need to know it's not that bad, y'all. It's real R&B out there.
100%. Yeah. You have to find it.
Yeah, no doubt. So yeah, it's time. And what music does, it does this. It always comes back. You know what I'm saying? It always gonna come back to 12, right? And it's like cycles and it's seasons and it's fads. But that's just music, you know, and that's a process. So you have to also know, you know, to understand when the fads are here, you know, but now it's fine. It's coming back to that because everybody's getting tired of the redundancy. Like everybody sound the same track beats. It's the same thing to the fact point where R&B used to be like, baby, I love you. I can't. The candlelight and the moon is right.
Slowly.
Baby, I love you.
J-Dub, we need another slowly.
Bitch, don't you love me? I'm like, no, that ain't R&B, son.
J-Dub, we need another slowly, sir. I need another slowly. I need slowly. Just saying.
Okay, that's R&B.
Yeah. J-Dub, when Tank get a verses, you know he's gonna play that. You know he's gonna play that. You know he's gonna play it.
Turn off the candles, bring the wine. That's R&B. That's what women want to hear, right? That's what y'all want to hear. Like, make it.
Yes.
Move for me, baby. Don't tell me I want to hit it. Like, come on, son. That's not R&B.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's like, yeah, it's time for that. You know, and shout out to Tank. He's one of the few out there that's keeping it 100.
Oh, yeah.
Because Tank is a vocal animal. Like, he's good.
He was showing them what they should have did on verses, but you know, I'm gonna leave that alone. But
can that boy sing? That boy can sing.
Church.
You know, and it's just like it's time for that. But the thing what I like about it though, even the industry knows, like, yo, we need that R&B. Because it's too much. It's too much. I love hip hop, but it's just too much.
Yeah.
It needs to be okay. You got hip hop, but let R&B be what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
About love and relationships and just loving the woman and treating her good.
And I'm a ballad dear person, so I love ballads.
See, well, that's why you love Slowly. Because Slowly is totally. And fun fact about that, I only use the MPC to keep the metronome. To play the drums. The drums is live, bass is live, guitar's live, piano, and the organ. Everything is live.
You know, that was some Devontae type of stuff you were doing, sir. That Jodeci.
Yeah,
you already know I knew.
Yeah. Shout out to Devontae. You know, but yeah, everything is live on that record too. So that's
everything
why
you do is live. I mean.
Yeah, but yeah, that was all live instruments. No MPC, no software, none of that. You know, so that's another thing. Like, it's nothing wrong with software. My younger producers out there, learn an instrument. Just learn an instrument,
please.
Now, if it's drum, if it's sax, guitar, piano, learn an instrument, because what that's going to do, that's going to expand your musical ear, your musical, and your sound, where you won't sound like everybody else right now.
I agree. And somebody in the shout out to Don Twan Music. I guess he shouted you out.
Oh, Don Twan is in my group. Rockstar and the Downtown Players. What up?
Look, he said Tank and Vito are holding it out. I do agree with that. That's why I feel that, you know, with R&B, and that's why I do my platform, to make sure that R&B is always here to stay. The real authentic R&B for what I feel. You know, J-Dub, and that's why people like yourself, I'm truly proud that with SWV's album, you know, making 25 years, release some tension. I know everybody calls it like a hip hop album, but I can hear those R&B elements with Troy Taylor. We're here for you and Jonte. Like, it's R&B in this album. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think people get so caught up because it was so many features from this album. But I think the thing about it is what I've learned today from this album, that it really, really was trying to make a statement for what it was. And I'm truly proud of people like yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then that's why I said, for me, Someone will always be my top 3 favorite song from this album. But for release some tension for what SWV was going at that time, at the end of the day, they still made a way with Rain and, you know, Someone and all this stuff like that. And the crazy part about it, Rain almost went to my favorite artist, Brandy. That was supposed to be her song. But Roddy, But Rodney didn't do it. Rodney said nope. And so they came to SWV. But I think it worked out. I'm happy it worked out for SWV in all honesty, because that song was meant for them, you know,
it was.
At the time. Like someone is meant for them. So that's why I love this album. It's my favorite. Some people may have a difference from them, but I don't care. This is the album that introduced me to the girls. And for my family to be so loved by SWV for what it is, I'm super proud of you. And I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, J-Dub, for what you have done in this industry. I'm super proud of you. I'm so honored and I'm so blessed. I was so happy. I'm like, I finally got J-Dub on the live. I was like, I got to get him. I was like, J-Dub got to come on one album. I thought it was going to be Boys II Men, but when I heard you did someone, I was like, nope. Nope. And don't get me wrong, I love Rain, but someone,
yeah,
that's my song. That's my song.
Thank you for having me, and shout out to Boys II Men too, because that was one of those projects I remember vividly too.
That got slept on. I'm pissed. That got slept on. That was a good album. Like
that album I think it was a lot of politics with that.
Yeah, you already know how that was.
Yeah, it was a lot of politics, but that album was cold.
It was R&B, and and J-Dub,
true R&B. Yeah.
Yes, and you know what's crazy, J-Dub, because there's been debates going on. So would you like to see this? Let's be real. Would you like to see Boys II Men versus Jodeci? Let's be real.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's all I want you to
do. And I'm gonna tell you something though. I haven't had the experience of being in studio with Jodeci, but I can tell you something about them Boys II Men boys. Don't nobody really want no smoke with them.
I know. Let me tell you.
Don't want no smoke with them.
The conversations I hear on Twitter is they soft. They don't know R&B. I say, y'all,
you do not want no smoke with them boys.
J-Dub.
Wanye will get up there and sing you up under the table. You understand me? to the point you don't need to get on the mic. And then people don't know Sean. Good Lord. That
pen.
I mean, don't nobody want no smoke with Boys II Men.
J-Dub, I'm happy you confirmed everything, because on Twitter, people just go in about Boys II Men saying they soft, they this, they that. I'm like, y'all,
they don't have no clue. They don't have no clue.
But J-Dub,
and the opportunity, I'm gonna tell you, them boys so bad. All you got to do is get them the song. I never forget, one of my favorite songs that I produced on them is To the Limit. To the Limit, I wonder where. Them boys got in there, and how they work, they cut all the lights off. You can't even see in the booth. All you hear, you see the lights lighting up on the board, that's it. When I say all I had to do was sit there, they did everything. I was like, good Lord, this is the easiest, this is the smoothest session.
Come on.
I didn't have to tell them to stack nothing over. I didn't have to tell them nothing was flat. And when I say them boys, it didn't only take about 1 or 2 takes. It was absolutely amazing to see them boys work. Professional, they own their notes, they get it done, and they good, fun people. Like it was just like that was really one of the smoothest, most fun projects that I and then especially with a group, right?
Yeah,
groups are kind of hot because different. It was just a blessing. Yeah, so shout out to Boys II Men. All of them cats got my respect, and I would say it any day of the week. Don't nobody want no smoke with them cats.
Come on, but J-Dub, they ever get a versus and they get Boys II Men versus Jodeci, I'm cutting up.
Yeah, me too.
They play your song on the verses. I'll be like, yup, there goes J-Dub. That's it.
Yeah, and shout out to Jodeci though. I love Jodeci.
You are Devontae. You are the Devontae of Bad Boy, sir. You were Devontae.
Right. I love Devontae. And I'm telling you a fun story about Devontae, right? Again, I'm a fan. When I got the Bad Boy, I never forget. It was Biggie's last album. He was still alive at this time. We had just got there. So Punk would have everybody came to the studio, right? To trying to get on the album.
Right.
I never forget, Devontae came in the studio. And when I say I ain't never heard no speakers, I don't know what he did, but it was like an earthquake. That boy played. I was like, woo, good Lord. So Devontae, Jodeci, they some bad cats. But to me, being that I work with Boys and Men, it's just, and you know what it is?
Yeah.
Why people don't get it, because Jodeci is on a different level, right?
Right, exactly.
Hard. Church.
Yep, church.
I'm gonna give you a prime, like kind of a good comparison. Jodeci is Baptist, hymns. Boys and Men is like Pentecostal. Like
that's it. That's all.
Like Karen Clark and them. They gonna run they gonna sing your ass up under the table. But you know, on the other end, you got, you know, like James Cleveland and them cats, they gonna sing you up under the table too. But it's totally
that part.
You see what I'm saying? So it's not really, but still to me, I know vocals, right? I know vocals because I grew up with the Clark sisters.
That was it.
I mean, Twinkle Clark taught me how to play the organ. I know vocals. I produced Kelly Price. First single,
okay.
I know vocals. Faith Evans, I know vocals. Boys and Men, Paint, I know vocals.
Aaliyah, talk about it.
Drill a bird. Let's go.
Well, let's go on and on.
I know vocals. My ear don't play. See what I'm saying? Like my ear don't
talking.
Them boys and men, don't nobody want no smoke with them. I'm just telling you.
Come on, J-Dub. Oh, J-Dub. I love it that we had the I just love this. I can have so many like hours with you. I had so much fun, J-Dub, but thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. But do you have any last words you want to say before we do end tonight's live? This was so much fun. You were like my longest interview, but I had so much fun. I had a ball. I love it. We can go on and on because you know I can talk to you about any artist, any genre. Like you are really a musical genius, and I have to give you so much. I give you your flowers for that. So thank you so much. So any last words you want to say? Anything you got coming up? What is your last thing you want to say tonight?
I just want to tell all the aspiring artists out there that really want to get in this game. Come on, true to you. Stay true to your sound, and understand again, this is a process. Nothing's gonna happen overnight, but if you stay true to it, you're gonna look up. You're like, whoa, I'm at the Grammys. Whoa, I'm on my video shoot. Because that work that you put in is going to compound over time. It's going over time. And then people will start noticing that. And you're going to be all right, but just stay true to it. And then lastly, be on the lookout for my this EP project that I'm doing. It's really going to be a lot of fun. And I'm opening it up to, work with a lot of young artists and pen and songwriters. So, and that's about it, man. And just stay true to the music. Keep God first. You need God. You need that grounding in this industry. I would say that. Because that's what really kept me in this game so long. Is that no matter what, I've always had that foundation. And you need that. And I ain't saying you got to go to church every Sunday. You ain't got to never go to church. But as long as you have some type of real community, a hotline, when it's getting rough, you got a hotline with God, and God got a hotline with you. Always keep that open and always keep that fluid, and you do that through prayer. A lot of prayer will help you, just stay focused and stay grounded. No doubt.
Oh, J-Dub, I had so much fun. I love you for this. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Congratulations.
I love you too. And I'm gonna tell you, anytime you need me, I'm here because you are just a beautiful spirit. And I got like that thing that you heard discernment. I don't mess with everybody. So it's like you call. I was like, wow, man, let's do it. Every time you call me, anything, it's like, oh, come on, okay, what you need?
We like this.
Yeah, we're like, literally. So again, anytime you need me, I'm here for you.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, J-Dub, we gotta celebrate next year because 25th anniversary of Faith Evans. You know,
oh, yeah. Oh,
you know that's my album.
Hey, let's go. Let's go.
You know, next year gonna be crazy. So I'm truly excited. Look, I'm so ready for that. I'm so excited.
I'm gonna put it on the calendar now.
Oh, well, you know exactly when the anniversary comes, we got to prepare for that for next year.
No doubt. No doubt.
Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight on this beautiful, great interview with the iconic, the legendary, the CEO of Dove's World, the king of keys, the producer, the one, the only, Mr. J-Dub. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Y'all have a blessed night.
God bless. Good night, y'all. Peace.
You too. Bye.